Welcome to Arlington County's tutorial for how to revise the permit application or plans for permits in ePlan. This guide applies to mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire, elevator, and building permits. This tutorial will cover when to revise a permit application, tips for how to successfully revise permit applications, when to revise plans associated with a permit, tips for successfully submitting plan revisions, and then walking through how to actually revise a permit and applications in the ePlan system. Please visit building.arlingtonva.us for video guides that walk through each type of permit application, video guides for how to submit plans or documents at the start of an application, and specific details about the plans, forms, and other submission requirements. Now, let's talk about when to revise a permit application. In some instances, an ISD permit specialist will reject and return the permit with comments that require application changes before the permit can be sent for further review or issued. Common examples are the legal owner information does not match Arlington County's real estate assessment data, the scope of the work on the mechanical, electrical, or plumbing permit does not match the associated building permit provided, the contractor information does not match DPOR, or the fields filled out are conflicting or missing required information. After the application is accepted by the ISD permit specialist, one or more of the plan reviewers can reject the permit with comments that require application changes. Common examples are that the fixture count provided on the mechanical, electrical, or plumbing permit does not match the approved building permit, or the plan drawings don't match the scope of work provided on the application. Finally, after the permit has been approved and issued, it can be determined by the inspector that the application doesn't match the work in the field, or there may be a choice to make changes once under construction. Typically, this is because the quantity of fixtures, appliances, or other fields on the permit are less than the number that the inspector sees at the job site. For example, the electrical permit application lists 2 new electrical circuits, but in the field, there are actually 3 new circuits that were installed. Now, let's talk about some tips for successfully submitting a permit application. When rejected, the applicant will receive an email that the permit has been rejected, and it includes an attachment of a Word document and a PDF that have comments for why the permit was rejected. This can include comments for both the application and the plans. If you have questions about the comments, please use the email listed on the comment letter to contact the reviewer about their comments. Let's take a moment to review a typical comment letter. On the screen is an example of a residential new structure or house. This tutorial and the information provided also apply to the other applications as well. At the top of the letter is the project ID, the permit number, and the job address. Underneath that, you can see a list of the individuals that reviewed the permit. You can see what department they're with, the reviewer's first initial and last name, the reviewer's full name, their email address, and their decision. Below this is a table that has the list of comments. It lists each reviewer's name, which you can match up with the table at the start of the letter if you'd like to reach out to your reviewer about comments. Let's talk about some more tips when it comes to application revisions. You should be aware that not all fields on the application can be changed after submission. Depending on where the project is at in the process or the type of permit, this impacts what fields can be changed. For example, while a permit's under review with staff, the application and plans cannot be changed. Another example, once a permit has been issued, the permit holder cannot be changed on the application because it requires additional documentation and supervisory approval outside of the ePlan system. If you cannot change a field on the application and would like to understand how to update that information on your permit, please use the contact information on building.arlingtonva.us for assistance. Now, if you are changing the quantity of fixtures, appliances, or other fields on the permit application, please put the new correct total for that specific field. Please do not put the number that's changing. This primarily applies to mechanical, electrical, and plumbing permit applications. Please be aware, changes to the permit application might result in new comments or rejections. For example, if the only rejection comment was regarding the legal owner information and you changed other information on the application, such as who is the permit holder, it might create new comments or requirements. Now let's go over when to revise plans and documents. First, an ISD permit specialist can reject and return a permit with comments that require changes to the plans or files before the permit can be sent on for further review. Common examples are that a multi-page plan was submitted as a single PDF instead of each sheet uploaded as an individual file, required forms are missing or incomplete, or the plans don't contain the required minimum information to be sent on to plan review. If this is the case, please review our other video on how to upload plans for step-by-step information and specific guidelines on how to have a successful initial upload. If the application was accepted and sent on to plan review, but one or more plan reviewers has rejected the permit with comments that require changes to the plans, then you will also need to revise the plans in the ePlan system at that point. Typically, this is because the plans submitted do not show all of the information required for a complete review, or some part of the design or plans do not meet the requirements of the Virginia Uniform Statewide Building Code, the Arlington Zoning Ordinance, the Arlington County Code, or other regulations or requirements. Finally, after the permit has been approved by plan review and issued, it still may need revised plans if the plans don't match what was built on site. For example, if a customer decides to add a prefabricated fireplace, which was not part of the original plan. This will require plans to be resubmitted that show the actual conditions on site, so it can be reviewed for compliance with all regulations and requirements. Often, the inspector will identify the difference between what was built and the approved plans and reject the inspection until the plans are revised and approved. Now, let's review some tips for plan revisions. Just like with application changes, the applicant will receive an email if the permit is rejected. It includes an attachment of a Word document or PDF with comments. Remember that the comment letter can include comments that apply to both the application and the plans. Also remember, if you have questions about the comments, please email the reviewer listed next to that comment. If you have an associated building permit for mechanical, electrical, or plumbing permit applications, the plan revisions should be submitted under the building permit. The mechanical, electrical, or plumbing permit applications should only be revised once the changes to the plans under the building permit have been approved. If you are revising plans for a building, fire, or elevator permit, or your mechanical, electrical, or plumbing permit does not have an associated building permit, then you can proceed to revise the plans under that permit. It's also recommended that you include a comment response letter, which is a reply to each plan review comment, briefly explaining how the comment was resolved and which plan sheets to find those changes on. Next, please do not delete files unless directed to do so in the comment letter. The plan review comments, markups, and other details will be lost if the file is deleted. This will cause the review to take additional time and can create confusion for reviewers. In some cases, the permit may be returned and the applicant directed to work with technical support to restore the deleted files and resubmit the revision before plan review can be done. Also, please keep the exact same file name so that revised plans replace the original file. If you use different file names, it will not replace the original file, and the permit will have multiple copies of each sheet you upload with a different name. Let's walk through an example of that so you can see what staff see when revised plans and documents are submitted. In this example, the exact file name was used, and you can see the ePlan system shows the number of times the sheet's been revised, as well as the date of the most recent revision. In this case, sheet A003 was revised on 7/27, and this is the second time it's been changed. Revisions can be sorted by date as well as by the number of times revised. In this case, we can see sorted by the number of revisions. So the reviewer can quickly and easily find which sheets were revised, as seen here. Now for this same project on the next sheet, they've sorted by date. Now you can see the uploaded both sheets that were revised as well as any new documents such as the comment response letter and the forms in this example. Now let's take a look at another example that didn't follow the exact same file name. In this case, you can see where two files uploaded have different names. The first one has a _REV added to the M102 proposed mechanical layout for floor 10. Now you can see that there is a version of floor 10 from 7/29 and a new version of floor 10 from 8/02. Next, you can see there's a correction for a typo from the original system upload from M104 proposed duct layout for floor 11. You can see right underneath that the underscore was put before the letter F in floor on floor 11. And once again, we have two versions of the same sheet, one submitted on July 29th and one submitted on August 2nd. By not using the exact same file names, it's created duplicate sheets and will require the plan reviewer to reject for that issue and require the applicant to resubmit with the correct new file names. Now, let's take a look at how to actually submit the permit application changes and the plans in the ePlan system. This is the home screen you see each time that you log into the ePlan system. Here you can see a list of all of the permits submitted, as well as on the right side here, their status. To get to the screen to revise a permit application, you want to go to the far right side and click on the folder to open that application for the application you want to revise. I'm using a mechanical permit for this example, so I'll click on the folder for this mechanical permit. This guide also applies to electrical, plumbing, fire, elevator, and building permits, but some slightly different options may exist under each permit type for what fields can be updated in the application or what options you have for plans. The application will come up on screen. If you want to get back to the home screen, you can click on the Projects tab in the upper right-hand corner here. I'm going to scroll through the application to make my changes. Now, I've just noticed that this is still loading because I can see the spinning here, so it may take a second before I can scroll through my application. Depending on your internet connection, it may take a little longer. Remember to click Wait anytime it pops up to give some more time for the page to load. Now I can scroll through. In this case, I'm going to update the BTUs for one of the pieces of mechanical equipment. And I'm going to add a prefabricated fireplace. Now I'm going to save the permit application. Once all the application changes have been made, you can save and for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm also going to upload some revisions to the plan documents, so I'm going to wait to click the Submit for Review button. Let's switch over to the Plan Documents tab now, which is in the upper left-hand corner here. So in the upper left, I'm going to click on Plan Documents. Again, it may take a few minutes to load. Now, here you can see the plans I've already uploaded. Here's a list of the file names, and here's the revision number. Now, I'm going to click Browse in the far left corner here towards the middle of the screen to select the PDFs that I want to replace. I'm going to navigate to the folder that has those PDFs in them. You'll notice that all my file names have the exact same file name as the original uploads. I'm going to sort by date modified so I can quickly find each file. And then I'm going to click on the file I want to upload. You can select multiple if you would like. If you choose to select multiple, it's recommended to only browse and upload 10 PDF files at a time to prevent errors. In this case, I'm going to select one at a time to demonstrate the upload process. Now I'm going to click Open. And you can see it's reopened this M4 sheet and allowed me to change the discipline and the sheet type if I would like, as well as to write a brief description. And you can see on the right side of the screen here that it's still pending upload. Next, I'm going to go back to the left middle part of the screen and slightly over to the right from the Browse button, I'm going to click Upload. And yes, I'm sure I want to upload these changes. Now you can see on the screen, it has revision 2 and success next to this upload. Let's go through that process one more time for my other change. I'm going to click on Browse on the left side of the screen here. Find and select my other sheet that's changing, which in this case is sheet for floor 10. Open the file. And once again, I can see that it gives me the option to change the discipline if I would like and select the sheet type. And it gives me another pending upload. Once again, I'm going to click the Upload button here towards the left middle portion of the screen. And yes, again, I'd like to submit these upload changes. Now again, you can see where it says revision 2 and success. Once I've successfully completed all of my uploads, it will say success to the right. And as each one changes, it won't say anything next to it when I do another action. Once all the documents have been uploaded, please click the green Submit for Review button, which should appear in the upper right-hand corner. This will send the application and the plans either back to the ISD permit specialist for processing or directly to plan review, depending on where your permit was at in the status. The applicant will be provided emails based on the email they provided at the front of the application at critical points that require the applicant to take action, or you can check back anytime at the front of the portal to see the status. To learn more about the steps of the permitting process, how to submit various types of applications initially, how to schedule your inspections, and other critical information to the permitting process, please visit building www.arlingtonva.us.